bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Well, good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. That's right. Today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right, let's do this, man. I've got everything situated. It's weird. It's weird how I talk about this probably way too much. I have to have everything in its right spot. If anything is just off just a little bit, got my pens here, got my guitar pick, got my meteorite, right? My flashlights are all at the ready. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flashlights. I don't need flashlights, but I have to have, bam, right? It's just weird. I'm weird. Phone is at the right angle. You know, I've got one of those MagSafe chargers. You know the mag. This is a locking thing for my Harley, right? So it mounts on the, but there's a mag, and that click right, and it's got to sit right at the right angle and the light. It's weird, and when everything like right is right, then I can go. It's go time. I'm getting old. I am so old. Why? When did I turn into the cranky old man? When it wasn't supposed to happen, man. I was at home at my parents' house a couple of years ago when my dad passed away, and and my brothers got this crazy idea. We had all these people over at the house. And suddenly somebody's got this idea that they want to play old videos of my band from the early 80s. All right. Now, it's the 80s. So it's Aquanet, right? It's cigarettes, it's big hair and spandex and capizios and eyeliner. Who wants to see that? Right? And I'm sitting there and my brothers pop in this video and I'm sitting there and it's just like, this is the most painful thing I've ever seen. Anyway, after this one thing, we get interviewed by this local TV station. Right. And so we're sitting on this couch and this guy with his hair is really funny. Anyway, so he asked me a question, puts a microphone in my face, and I said something like really innocent. And I'm thinking now today, what happened to that guy? That guy sitting on that couch, that kid with the hair and the thing and that attitude. That's that's me. When did I get old? I don't know how it happened. I don't know. I would have never tolerated this when I was a kid. No, man. No. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh, yeah. Sheila Seppi is here with us tonight. See, like I have to perform the show with one sock. Okay. This side, I have a slipper on, right? So I have to perform the show with a sock. The reason for that is I have a foot pedal here. It's got 3 foot pedals that run my teleprompter, right? Backwards, forwards, roll, all that stuff. But I can't feel it with the shoe on, right? So I have to wear a sock on this foot. This foot gets a shoe, but right next to the pedal, what do I have? I have to have My other slipper has got to be right there, right in the right spot. When did I turn into this dude? Man, who cares? But I can't do the show unless everything is in its right spot. Okay, so anyway, tonight, Sheila Seppi is back with us. Here's her new book. It is Cosmic Convergence. And so we're going to be discussing that. We'll get into that in just a minute. She is here. She is back with us. Love, Sheila. And I've just started the book. We'll find out tonight. We're going to be discussing hybrids and walk-ins and starseeds. And you can help support everything that we do around here by getting a Faded Black t-shirt. You can support my socks. That's right, socks. And the rumor is I'm going to be wearing blue socks to protect my feet from directed energy weapons. That's right. Also, I'm going to be wearing blue underwear to protect my other stuff from DEWs. That's right. Rumor has it, blue blocks everything. So blue underwear, blue socks. Help me support. Help me get blue underwear and blue socks so I can stay protected from those DEWs. All right. All right. Last night, Maureen Seberg was with us. Tonight, Sheila Seppi is here. And tomorrow night, Scott Wolter. He has got new Templar documents. We're going to find out about that, or he says he does. Thursday night, Fritz Zimmerman is here. We're going to be talking about the dark side of ancient America. I've got 5 major events coming up. I have the Conscious Life Expo at the LAX Hilton. That is February 7th through the 10th. Links below. Rise of the Guardians, March 29th and 30th, Sedona, Arizona. Links below. Contact Modalities Expo at Delavan Lake in Delavan, Wisconsin, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Links are below. Then I'm going back to Peru with Brian Forrester, one of two trips this year for the Inca Celebration of the Sun. That is June 17th through the 27th, 2025. The links for everything are below. Now, one last thing. Did you ever imagine that you would see the internet and social media turn into what it has in the last 7 days? In your wildest imagination, did you see this one coming? Right? So we have Zuckerberg says, hey, no more fact checkers. And then the fires break out. And it has allowed the deepest, darkest basement, the scariest place that you can imagine, the place that you never went to. You never went through the basement door at your grandparents' house. You left the basement alone. You never went down. Now, that's what's going on. Did you ever imagine it is a free-for-all for Photoshop? It's a free-for-all for the keyboard. It is crazy. So there you go. I found out one thing. I don't post, and I posted. I did. I posted it. I never post. I posted, and now I know why I don't post. I know why now. So just like last night, tonight, 2 hours of freedom of thought. I've got a beautiful, wonderful, super smart guest tonight that's going to allow me and you to escape. We need to get away from this madness. That's right. Sheila Seppi is here. The new book, it's groundbreaking. It is called Cosmic Convergence. It is walk-ins. It is starseeds. It is hybrids. All of the journeys. Who are they? What are they? We're going to talk about all of that tonight. We're going to get our learn on. We're going to talk about her personal journey as a walk-in. And that's something I've always wanted to explore. Walk-ins and the idea behind it and what is actually going on. I've been fascinated with this for years. Now, she's a holographic alchemist. She's a soul exchange walk-in. And she works with all of the universe and what is out there. We're going to talk about all of that as well. Cosmology and upcoming events and everything else that's going on in her life. So we're going to do that right now. And welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Sheila Seppi. Sheila, welcome back.
Hi, how are you? Great to be here.
Man, can you tell I'm a cranky old man?
Hey, you know what? It's called organization. You got to be able to touch it.
I'm just that cranky dude
I know your
now.
pain. I know your pain.
Cranky dude. So, you know what I did? I did it like I say every day, but for sure 3 of the last 4 days. In my outside of my shower, I've got a tub and a shower, right? Okay, so outside of my shower sits not these, but a pair of slip-ons, right? Okay, they sit right there. And so, and I only wear those in the bathroom. If, and I did this 3 times this week. If I put them down, if I take my feet out and one of them is overlapping on the other on the floor like this, I can't walk out of the bathroom. I got to go back and make sure that they are like this. That's I got issues, man. I got issues. And I just don't know. I don't think it's some deep-seated psychosis. I think it's something that I enjoy. And then I enjoy complaining about it. You know what I mean? So I can complain about it and maybe get a laugh out of it. I don't know. But it's weird. I can't leave the bathroom. I can't. I turned back around. I tried to leave. I tried to walk out. I'll just leave it. No, I'm not. And I walked back. God, just what happened? What happened? I used to be the happiest go lucky, not give a crap. Have you tapped out? Have you tapped out yet to going from young and free spirited to cranky old person?
Oh yeah.
You tapped out? You tapped out?
That's why I said it's called organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
got my slippers too.
Yeah, see.
I don't have pedals.
Here's the funny thing. And I really want to see the comments light up on this. I used to standing in line. I could do for days. I stood in line for 2 days for Van Halen tickets, right? With the sleeping bag, right? I wouldn't do that now. And so if I'm in a line at a supermarket or wherever, I'm standing in line. I never cared. I had other stuff I could do, talk, whatever, look around, occupy my not. I'm that dude in line, man. What's going on? What's going on up there? It's like, what happened?
The value of time.
Yeah, it's
We've
true.
learned the value of time. It's like,
that's true.
Hurry up.
Wow, that's such a good point. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not. Wow. That's really insightful. Maybe that's what it is. I don't have time to waste now. I'm on limited time. I'm on limited time, man. I'm on limited time, which probably, you could tie that into the way that you're regimented in your day now. You just want, you don't want anything wasted. Yeah, efficiency. What? Oh man. So I'm okay.
You are normal.
Really?
Well,
okay.
Either that or both of us are a bunch of oddballs.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. Here's the stage I don't want to get into, though. I don't want to be the dude that's walking down the street talking to himself, all pissed off. Oh, son of a bitch, Jesus Christ. I don't want to be that dude.
Why you buy a dog? That way you can fuss at
Yeah,
the dog.
that's a really good point too. Yeah, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that cranky old dude. I don't. I've stopped going to. I can't go to nightclubs. You can't. You can't. You don't want to be the old dude, right? So you can't do that. There's just certain things now. There's a certain zone, so I know my area, right? I know my area. So I'm okay with all of that, I guess. Do you ever go to clubs?
No.
When was the last time you saw a live band?
Oh God. Let's see.
See,
I
that's
went
what
to
I'm talking.
see Raising Appalachia.
What is that?
Probably.
Is that a band? Is that a band?
It's a band. It's a live band.
Country band?
No, they're kind of very, girl eclectic kind of, moving with the groove. And I don't know what type of music you'd call it.
Raising Appalachia?
Mm-hmm. Raising
Get
Appalachia.
out of here. See, now that shows you how old I am. I'm just like, I don't know what that is. You know how old I am? I'm shopping for vacuum cleaners. That's how old I am. Okay, hold on for a second. Raising
Appalachia.
They're
great.
Apple. Okay.
Appalachia.
Rising, not raising, rising.
Oh, rise. Oh, well, see, there you go. I can't even remember who I went to see. Rising Appalachia.
Oh, they look hip. Yeah, they look hip.
They're great. You have to listen to them.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
I've never heard of them. They look hip. It's like a full band.
Bob Dylan, they've got a lot of great, kind of folk sound with a real good message for humanity. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess everybody here knows them and not me. Somebody just, you know what? Okay, so check this out. Ken Priest, we'll get to your book in a second.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, check out the book, but let's have fun here.
Yeah. So Ken Priest has said Greta Van Fleet is my last show. And so are you hip to Greta Van Fleet?
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. All right. They are, and this is no slight on them because they are what they are. They are Led Zeppelin from 1974. Okay. And they're kids. And they're really good. Well, they've been out for a while now. When they came out, when they first launched, I mean, you looked at them, you went, man, is anybody in this band over 18? 19, you could tell, but they were really talented. And there was this raw talent. But they haven't escaped that. They've got this 70s rock and roll vibe. It's Led Zeppelin, and I'm sure that Robert Plant goes, they're pretty good. They're a pretty good young Led Zeppelin. I would think, but so that's what Ken just put. And so when everybody was talking about them, and now, so you look what's behind me. I should know a thing about music, right? This is pretty cocky. This is pretty cocky, right? So you kind of got to be able to back that up. And I'm like, who's Greta Van Fleet? Everybody knew about him but me. And it was like Rising Appalachia, right? I don't know. But I will check them out. They look hip. They look real hip.
They're really good.
Are they sisters? Are they?
They are. And you have to be real careful with the music that I listen to because I feel all the vibrations in my body. I can't listen to a lot of heavy metal, obviously. And, certain frequencies, it just really starts to lock me up. So if I'm not listening to that, I'm listening to like pan drum music and yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you saying heavy metal is good for you or bad?
I can't listen to. I mean, some people love it. Like my son, it calms him down, believe it or not. However, for me, it's kind of like, I can't.
Why?
And I love to hear it because I feel the vibrations in my body, and for whatever, it's just not copacetic with my system.
Let's stay right there. Let's stay right there. There's got to
Yeah.
be a reason for it. What do you think it is?
I don't know. It's just, there's certain frequencies that are emitted. A lot of people have philosophies, and I'm not saying about any particular band, but there's a lot of philosophy that, when certain frequencies are played, it's easier for other frequencies to embed within them. Now, does that have anything to do with me? I don't have a clue. However, I just know how it affects me. And so if we have these other frequencies that are embedding, and let's say you've got this music coming up, it's really high vibe, it opens up, and these other frequencies embed, then it has a propensity to lock into the cellular structure of the body, and it can start to do all kinds of things. It can lower your own vibration. It can raise your vibration. That's one of the beautiful things about music.
This is talked about more and more today than it has in the past. And let's stay right here because I think it's an important topic. And by the way, I've had more starseeds come up to me that love heavy metal.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so it says to me that ET likes both kinds.
Absolutely.
They like heavy and metal. They like them both. But and I although I can be a little funny cavalier about the subject, ET only listens to Van Halen. Well, but
maybe.
But ET, if to get to this planet, then they have advanced, they have evolved, right? It's not us going to another galaxy, it's them coming here, right?
Right.
So therefore, right, they're probably a couple notches above us on that tree of life. Makes sense, right? So that would say to me that they have gone through everything that we've gone through. So theater, comedy, sculpture, art, writing, movies, of course, music, comedy, stand-up comedy. They've gone through, they've done all the Greek tragedies already. You understand what I'm saying? And so they would have an appreciation for music, and they would, hearing what we're doing here, I think they would get it.
Yeah, they go into their holographic library, switch through it, and go jam out to Led Zeppelin.
Or Hank Williams, or Patsy Cline, or
right.
Elvis, or Sinatra.
That's right. We've been sending the frequency and the signals out for years, so they just kind of gather them.
They probably freaked on Justin Bieber just a little bit. They probably,
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's give them about 10 more years. Give them about 10 more years. But or Nickelback. Nickelback probably would mess them up too as well. Anyway, but would you agree with that ET would have an appreciation for the arts because they evolved through all of that too? They would have had to have.
Yeah, absolutely, because there are a lot of extraterrestrial societies that they're artists that have artists, and within these artisans is what I'm going to call them. They have various art forms. Now, not like the art forms that we have, but let's say that they are creating an image of a flower. So not only are you seeing the image of the flower, you're seeing the image coming up through the ground. You're seeing the image sprouting. You're seeing the image blooming. You're even being able to smell. And I have seen this type of art several times in my travels, in my journeys. And yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Last night I had Maureen Seberg on, and she's just brilliant, man. She's just amazing. Anyway, we were talking about, or she was talking about, the senses.
Mm-hmm.
There's 5, there's 6, if you can count
Right.
consciousness as a sense, but that all of us probably have one superpower in those senses. And for her, it's eyesight, right? But you just mentioned, right, the smelling, the what, a flower. That is something that just fascinates me. Do you have, in your journeys, have you found that you have one of those senses that is heightened above the others?
Well, if you're talking about the physical senses, it's probably my hearing. Yeah, it would be my hearing, because I'm able to pick up. And I think that that's also why music, I'm so sensitive to music, because I hear all types of different frequencies all the time. And so depending on where I am, sometimes I'll have high pitches that are just kind of reverberating through the body. And then they kind of get stuck like in that inner ear system, or in the inner ear area. And then sometimes, depending, like if you're in a deep meditation, it could be like a low hum that kind of comes through. And so, I can go to an area like, God forbid, today I had to go to a court with someone, and my senses were going crazy. I'll be honest with you, I think I was in 3D shock. I was just sitting there like, who says these kinds of things, or who does these kind of things? And maybe it's like Spidey senses, but it was just like, going off in my ears the whole time. And then I step out of that building, it starts to calm down again.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah,
That's gotta suck.
It does. It does.
I don't know how somebody who is an empath can go into a store.
It's hard. It's hard.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's hard to get angry with people, because then it's like, oh yes, but I understand why they did what they did. It sucks, but this is what they did, and I understand that. And because I understand it, you can't be angry. You have to forgive people. You have to drop into love.
When I was a kid, I'm talking, I was probably 19 or 20 years old, 21, right in there. But I took a class, right? And in this class that was, I don't want to get into the details of it, but it was like 6 weeks. But this professor told it, and it was a life-changing moment for me, Sheila. I never heard anything like this. And this is 40 years ago, okay? That you cannot get mad at somebody because you can't communicate with them, and they're not understanding what you're saying. You're not understanding what they are saying, and you let the conversation get out of control. Now you've ruined a relationship. You can't do that. You have to know who you're trying to communicate with. What is their personality type? What is your personality type? How are they perceiving you? You need to understand who you are, and you need to understand who you're talking to. And once you figure that out, you can communicate with anybody. And I was sitting there, and what? Right? What? And that's one of the reasons why I'm a pretty good communicator these days, because what I learned so many years ago, I have applied, and it was absolutely 100% correct. It was 100% correct. And today, especially with social media and with everybody trying to communicate with others, not only in social media, but just in conversation, that don't understand these concepts. And suddenly everybody sees all of this divisiveness, but it doesn't need to be there.
Right. Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, that's very wise. You know, I studied with the Hopi elder, and I'm still apprenticed to her. It's been 24 years, 25 years. But regardless, one of the first teachings that I got is like, you can have the best speech in the world planned out, but if the person is not in a receptive state to hear what you have to say, it falls on deaf ears. And I always remembered that, because it's true. You know, you can sit and you can think and you can have these beautiful words you want to share with someone, but if they're not in a place to hear you, it doesn't matter whether it's anger or whether it's love, they're just not going to hear you.
And you have to understand your audience.
Yeah.
If it's an audience of 1 or 10 or whatever. Do you remember? Okay, talk about ET. This is how we, in Mars Attacks. In Mars Attack, great movie. Supposed to be a comedy. I think it's a documentary, but we'll leave that. But anyway, so the flying saucer lands in Las Vegas, right? And the crowd is there, you remember, and everybody's there. And the Martian dude comes down. He's got that red robe. Remember that guy? Okay. So he comes up, and the generals are there, and they're all ready to, and the kid in the background kind of looked like Jesus. He had a beard. What does he do? He releases the white doves, and it freaks out the Martians, right? And they start shooting up everything. What the white doves to us are peace, not to the know your audience, right?
Yeah.
Know your audience. Know your audience.
Great example. Yeah.
Yeah. So when ET comes, that's one of the things I'm nervous about, is things may be interpreted the wrong way, right?
Well,
whatever it is.
You know, we've been under observation for so many hundreds of thousands of years that I think they kind of understand who we are and what we're about. The problem is going to be us being able to accept, and us being able to welcome, you know, and not operate from a place of fear.
Well, yeah. So you're saying that they know already that we play banjos on the front porch.
Absolutely.
Right.
And sit in your underwear and drink beer and wave at the cars. They know all that stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's hope. I've always really been nervous about that, but I've had a very strange thought that we, in a general concept. Now I'm going to talk about your journeys and what you've seen out there as applied to what I'm about to say. Okay. And ask you. I've had a very strange recurring thought. That is, humanity in general, has been in pursuit of peace, love, and happiness. That's the goal. Peace, love, and happiness. We just want to be, now we've had a lot of wars and a lot of weird ways of trying to get here. But I think that the underlying thing is, what if in the future we just found bliss and we figured all of this out, right? Okay. All right. So that's our goal. What if ET comes and goes, it never gets better, right? We as a species have been trying, and we've been close, but we've screwed it up every single time too.
Yeah.
But what that's like my Pandora's box.
Yeah. Well, there's reality out there too. It's the same as it is here. And a lot of the 3D-ness, the reason that people can connect in, it's not always amongst sitting and meditating. it can be Joe Blow in the backyard having a barbecue, and him and his buddies look up, and right there is a craft. So it's not even about vibrational frequency. It's about the readiness, and they're being able to read us and know when we're ready to be able to receive this kind of stuff. And so that, number one, is something that's very kind, because if all of a sudden they show up, there's going to be a lot of people that have a difficult time accepting it. A lot of people are going to say, well, it's about time. We've seen you, and we've visited you in dream time, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So then you get on the ship and you go out there, and that's pretty cool. And then you see their dimensional reality. It's the same thing as our dimensional reality. You know, I have never encountered a place other than being in the collective and in the spirit realm that there's that kind of peace. When you are out and you are about, even if it's an extraterrestrial being, they're in societies. And societies are societies, regardless of where they are. And so there are beings that are much more spiritual, that are in the higher realms. But a lot of times when people go out, they'll even encounter wars. They'll see all types of things that are going on out in space, actually. And so you have to look at, with there being interdimensional beings, and we have multiple dimensions here on the planet, what if they're already here operating with us now, and they just pop in from their dimension? Okay. We're still in this third density container. So depending on the vibrational frequency that they have, they can lower into our container, leave, and go into their society. But I think all of us that's operating here copacetically, mm-hmm. that are encountering these beings, you know, we're having very benevolent experiences. We're going on craft, and sometimes we remember everything on there, and sometimes we don't remember everything that's happening on there. I've never experienced war. I've never experienced aggression from any of the beings that I've come in contact with. But there are societies that the information that comes through is they have learned, they have overcome, because they are much more advanced. They have been where we are, and they've overcome it. But there are many, you have to look up, as many stars as there are, there mm-hmm. can be that many planets that inhabit life, that have life on them. And so some of them may not even be as advanced as we are. And so it's going to depend on where you go, what society that you're involved with, to their level. It's not like extraterrestrials come from here and all extraterrestrials are good, or all extraterrestrials are bad, or all extraterrestrials are peaceful. It depends on where you go, because we are just like one little grain of sand on the multitude of universes of sands.
Did you see Three Body Problem? Did you watch that? You heard of it? Okay, all right. Sheila?
Wait a minute. Was it a TV series?
Sheila, I'm gonna finish your book when you finish Three Body Problem. Okay? Deal? Okay, write it down.
I might have watched it. If I did, I watched it in 2 days. I can't remember.
No, you couldn't have watched it in 2 days. Well, no, you probably could if you stayed up for 24 hours. Okay, no. It's the number 3.
3 Body. Yeah, I did watch that. And it was just one season?
One season, yeah. There's two. There's 2 versions of it.
Oh,
there's the Netflix version, which is like 7 or 8 episodes.
Right. I think that's what I saw.
Then there's they're both Chinese, but there's a Chinese version that came out before that's 30 episodes. Same story. Netflix did it in 7 episodes or 8, I think. And
Okay.
sorry about that. It's so weird. I run a lot of computers here for the show. And this one, which I use, but I'm not using it for you right now, just went into update mode on me. And so I've got to stay on top, and I got to make sure it doesn't make any sounds.
But is your shoe lined up properly with the screen?
That's on this side.
Question.
That's over here. That's not on this side.
Okay, got it.
Oh man. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna leave this
Yeah.
here.
Now I can't tell you what it was, but I do remember I watched it, and then a friend of mine was watching it, and I watched the end with her.
Well, this is why I bring it up, because that particular species, race, right? Alien race, they have a 3-body problem. They have 3 stars.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Right. 3 stars, 3-body problem. We have 1 sun. We have a 1-body problem, right? So plasma, whatever, EMF,
light codes.
Right. All that stuff. Well, we've got, but imagine, and gravity and everything. That's 1. But if you've got 3, then you've got gravity pulling from all directions. You've got just weird. It's a 3-body problem. So their species keeps getting extinct,
right,
and has to restart, extinct and restart, extinct and restart and extinct. So they're on their way here,
right,
but it's going to take 400 years at the speed of light, right? 400 light years away to get here. So in the time, they're more advanced than us. But in that 400-year period, by the time they get here, we will be more advanced than them.
Correct.
And they don't want that. Now, that's a pretty interesting take on the ET situation, isn't it? That's a really interesting take. So what do they choose to do? They stop our science. They stop us from learning, so when they get here, that they can inhabit our planet, because their planet is screwed up because it's a 3-body problem. They want a 1-body problem. I just found that fascinating. So when you bring that up, that is one of the obvious things. What's the planet? Where is it? How long has the planet been there? Where are they? What are the issues on their planet? And is Earth better than the situation that they're in currently? Maybe they could have a 3-body problem. Maybe there is war going on out there with fighting over a planet that is better than another one for somebody to live on. And I think that is something that honestly is worth a discussion. We need to be smarter than that.
Well, I mean, just think about our own planet. Yes, we have conquered, if you will, the terrain, the earth. We know nothing about our oceans. We hardly know anything about the oceans, and we don't know about the dimensional spaces that we're in. Okay. Yes, people talk about, okay, we've got 1D, that's your most basic fundamental. We got 2D, we got 3D, that's where we are. We've got 4D. Okay, now we've got this unified consciousness 5D that's coming up that we're talking about. But what happens when we move from these dimensions into a new density? Because our first density, which is where we are right now, that holds all the carbon life beings, has dimension 1, 2, and 3 in it. But what happens when we actually shift and we move from that carbon to the silica life? And then we've got dimensions 4, 5, and 6 that we're operating in. Then we got a whole new host of problems. So when we talk about the new Earth, in my opinion, it's a lot has to do, with Gaia's transition, and that we will transition as well. It's all going to happen around the same time, but it's all dependent upon how we hold that light frequency, how we raise the vibrational frequency of the collective consciousness. So what happens as we raise this collective consciousness, then our galactic families out there, they see this light and it's like, oh yeah, it's time for us to go. When we get to a particular light quota, they'll be here.
What's the conversation like when you have Thanksgiving with the family?
Just like what we're talking about.
It is, isn't it?
It is. It's
Man,
exactly,
I bet you that is fun.
you know, my kids,
Can you
because
please
when
pass
I walk,
those third density potatoes, please? Yes.
we do. Yeah, well, it's pretty crazy. You know, we've got pyramids set up and we got crystals, you know, we got the whole 9 yards at the house, you know. As I think about it, we don't have a lot of what people would call normal friends that come over and hang out. You know, first off, the energy is pretty intense in the house. But, you know, my kids were very small when I walked in. And so they just grew up with this. You know, your mom is a walk-in. Okay, my mom's a walk-in. I don't know what a walk-in is, but that's cool because now you can play with us. You're not sick anymore. Yay. You know, and so my oldest daughter, who was 12 when I walked in, is the one that saw the major shifts, and she didn't say anything about it for years and years. And when she was about 25, it was like, I've got to tell her, I've got to tell her, I've got to tell her. And she had she had a baby, and I was like, but I don't want her not to let me see the grandbaby, but I got to tell her the truth. I've just got to tell her. So I told her. And she's like, oh my God, thank you. I knew people don't just switch overnight like that. So she was only 12. So the conversations has to be a little bit lighter around her. But the smaller children who were 3 and 6, they grew up with all of this. Now she still embraces the concept and it's like, okay, that's fine, you know, but we don't talk about it at the dinner table with her. Because, you know, she knew a different mom than the one that I am.
It's got to be so confusing,
Not
right?
really.
I mean,
no.
I mean, at that age, if
at that age, yes.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
She saw her mom have a total personality change. Not only was I a very, very sick person and all of a sudden became healthy, but all of a sudden I started talking about metaphysical concepts without ever reading a metaphysical book and not even understand what the heck I was talking about.
Right.
All of a sudden, all of the dinner table foods became different because I wasn't eating the stuff I was serving them before.
Okay? Like wait. Okay, bum me out.
Okay.
How did the diet change? What were you doing before?
Oh, okay. Because I was working, I was sick, I didn't feel good. I would just stop at the fast food and grab food and bring it home. You know, Happy Meals was the favorite. Yay, we got the toy. Yeah, they loved it. And then it's like, nope, sorry, tonight we're having broccoli. No, I hate broccoli. No,
you're so fired. You're so fired.
Trees. It's little trees. See how they dance together?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I used to put a lot of cheese on the broccoli.
Oh, you did. You would have to.
Oh yeah, they weren't happy with me. They weren't happy. You know, my son.
Did you go vegan on them? Vegetarian?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Okay.
And my son used to complain. He would bring his friends over and it's like, what are we having for dinner? And it's like, well, we're having steak and we're having salad. And he's like, oh God, steak again? You know, so my kids, you know, I ate a lot of steak because we eat it blue because that's where you get the most nutritional value. After you cook it and the blood.
What did you say?
Blue. It's before rare. It's cooked, but it's before rare. It's basically seared. Okay.
So kind of like
it's not tartar.
Okay.
No.
It's between tartar and rare.
Yes. So it's
Okay.
before the capillaries burst, because inside the capillaries, that's the reason I eat meat. Inside the capillaries, you got the best CoQ10, your methionines, you've got all the good stuff that the body needs. You know, the B vitamins that are in the meat are what really help give
100%. But what
give
about chicken? What about chicken?
I mean, I do eat chicken. It's not on my top list.
So
If
red
I
meat
eat
is up
meat,
there.
it blue steak. I will eat a hamburger sometimes, but the meat loses the constitutionality, then it just becomes protein. If I'm
What
going to
about
have to,
so then sushi's high on your list.
oh no, I don't eat sushi. No, I don't eat sushi, and here's why. We also do live and dried blood cell analysis, and I can see parasites in the microscope in people that eat sushi. I don't eat sushi. I don't.
Okay.
I don't eat it. No.
What about seared sushi?
I have no.
What about fish?
I
Cooked
do.
fish.
I eat salmon. That's it. I
Oh,
only eat
salmon's good.
salmon. Yeah.
But
Sometimes.
what about fish and chips? Fish and chips, you got to do fish and chips.
I don't like grease.
Okay, what about pork?
Eh.
Okay,
Pork,
no, these are all good answers.
Sometimes I'll have like bacon, but I'd rather have turkey bacon. But with pork, you know, it causes the body to burn too fast, because the constitutionality of pork and the constitutionality of the human body is very akin to each other. And so to me, it kind of does freaky. I mean, see, I'm super sensitive too. So when I eat it, I can kind of feel what it's doing inside my body.
Right.
Yeah. And because I do healthcare, then, you know.
Yeah. Well, see, that makes a lot of sense. And it's weird. I just respond to my eyeballs. And I think that the human condition, the way that we eat, is smell and sight.
Yeah. Is that your superpower? Are your eyeballs your superpower?
When it comes to Italian food, you damn Skippy. but here's the thing. That was actually pretty funny. I'm going to laugh at myself for a second. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
If there's something wrong with the food, your eyes will see it, and you're not gonna eat it. You're not gonna put it in your mouth. You're not. Your body, you'll throw. You know what I mean? You reject it. So, I can only eat pork certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can eat pork if it's barbecued, and my brain knows it's been cooking for like 4 days. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like freshly cooked pork chop, I ain't gonna do it. You know, I'm not. Bacon, first off, it's delicious. So my mind is already saying it's okay, right? There's that part. But it's also been cured, and it's been this and it's been that, and there's things, you know, so my mind and my eyes say that it's safe to eat. So I'm okay with that. But chicken, I'm very picky about. I don't like ordering chicken at a restaurant. I have to cook it myself. You know what I'm saying? I have to cook it myself.
That's the way I am with chicken. It's kind of one of those iffies. But you know,
so wait a minute. So wait. You don't do meatloaf?
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I mean,
this show has just ended. It's a great book. It's a great book, Sheila. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
You don't do meatloaf? How can you not do with that accent? I would imagine you make the best meatloaf in the United States.
I can make good meatloaf, but here's the thing. If I'm going to eat meat, I want to make sure that it's blue.
I get that.
If it's not blue, I would just assume drink it. I would just assume get my protein that way. Just shake
But
it
what
up.
meatloaf with the ketchup sauce and a pile of mac and cheese next to it and some corn on the cob. It
Yeah.
don't get no better than that.
No, just not talking my language.
Oh man.
Give me a good steak and a salad.
I know.
I can handle
So
that.
this is what I do. Yeah, I do the same thing. We're supposed to be talking about starseeds and walk-ins. No, we're talking about the diet.
This is the diet of this is a diet of a walk-in who came into a carnivore body.
Right.
And
So
the reality, certain people have certain needs. Now, there are certain star seeds, because of the vibrational frequency, their cellular structure needs to match that. So they have to be vegan.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. The art of I was talking about this last week, I think. Having the best iron skillet that you can afford is one of the most necessary things on planet Earth. On planet Earth,
For
right?
cornbread. Woo.
Well, cornbread. Yeah. But to cook properly and to cook these blue steaks that you're talking about, you need to have a red hot iron skillet for that.
Yeah.
That's it.
We grill. I just throw them out on the grill.
Same thing. I get my grill to 500 degrees. If I can get it to like 510, I'm pretty happy.
Try a blue steak. Your taste buds will explode.
Well, I'm pretty much there anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much there anyway. Oh, I'm definitely rare.
Yes, but if the juices are oozing from the steak, it's overcooked. For blue. It's overcooked for blue. You have to retain that. And then your body is like, oh my God, this is so good.
I'm okay. I'm down. I've got an open mind. What is the difference? No, what is the difference between that and steak tartare? Nothing. As far as what your expectations are. It's not cooked, it's not hot.
But when you eat the steak, it's been really seared. So you want a good, nice, thick piece of meat. Get everything really hot. You can use whatever your oils or a butter, because I believe butter is great for the body. It's great for the brain, and it does not cause cholesterol issues. It helps actually the opposite. But so when you get the pan really hot and you sear it, automatically it's going to brown. So it's going to be nice and, crispy, and then you flip it and then it browns and it's nice and crispy, and you can pick it up and do the edges, and then
I do the same thing. Yeah, you and I are on the same page. I think I'm blue. I never knew the term.
That's right. You could be.
No, I'm blue and never knew the term. No,
you were talking about blue at the beginning, how blue protects you. See, you're protecting yourself from the inside out.
I'm telling you. Blue underwear. I'm telling you. It's about blue underwear. But so my pan, it's easier inside to do what I'm about to say. But anyway, unsalted or salted butter just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, and olive oil, and sometimes a little bacon grease. I get all three melted and browned in the iron skillet, and most of the time I'll butter the steak, salt and pepper and whatever I'm going to do with it, but I butter the steak. I butter that friggin' thing up.
Right.
When that thing hits the pan, it's immediate smoke-filled room. Yeah. Just, and
that's right.
It probably 30 seconds aside is probably too long.
Oh, there you go. You're a blue man.
Yeah.
And
30
you never
seconds.
knew it. Yeah.
30 seconds. The sides too as well. You got to, but yeah, 30 seconds. The pan is, it's 500 degrees. It's red hot. you know, so just that's what I do. Nice crispy sear, and then whatever's on the inside, but I do let it sit for however long I cook it. So let's say in the end, it's 3 minutes or 4 minutes, right? Okay. Because you're doing the sides too as well. You've got to rock the steak up on its side. That's how long I let it sit.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So if I cook it for 5 mintes, it sits for 5 minutes.
Right.
Then it hits the plate. But yeah, I guess I'm blue. All right, let's take our break right here, Sheila. When we come back, I promise everybody, we're going to jump into the book. Now that we know the diets of starseeds and walk-ins, I am your host, Jimmy Church. Sheila Seppi is our guest. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Beckley Teppy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. Today we're headed to Bolivia, Tiahuanaco, Peru, and of course, Pumapunku. Brian, exciting. Thank you so much for everything, my friend.
Always an honor. Right behind us is the sacred river of the Inca that goes past Machu Picchu. So we're going to be driving up to its source at 15,000 feet above sea level and then down to Lake Titicaca.
So today we hit 15,000 feet.
Yes.
Crazy. And you can do it with us. All you have to do is go to hiddenincatours.com. Simple. We've got 2 tours coming up next year, one in June for the summer solstice, right? And then another one right here in November. So hiddenincatours.com. Come and hang out with Brian and I and his amazing team.
Right on.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Sheila Seppi is with us. She's got a new book out. It's right here, Cosmic Convergence. And it is the journeys of walk-ins, starseeds, and hybrids. New book is out. I've got it right here. We're going to be talking about that. Earlier, I was just watching the chat. And earlier, I mentioned blue socks and blue underwear. All right. See, here's the thing, and this is why I brought all of that up, is on social media right now are threads and memes and pictures of blue stuff that doesn't burn up with lasers from space, right? DEWs. Allegedly, it's all bullshit, but who cares? Anyway, blue roofs, why is this, complex of buildings and these houses with blue roofs, but everything else around it? And I'm just thinking to myself, if you are going to post that, then also post a picture of you putting a blue roof on your house. If you really believe the BS that you are posting, show me the blue roof with your blue roof garage, with your blue car, and your blue jacket with your blue hat. Yeah. So anyway, how you doing? Fade to Black, our guest tonight, Sheila Seppi. She is back with us. Her new book is out. Sheila, do you have a blue roof?
I do not.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Okay, so here's the book, and I've just started it. And for those out there are, our community understands the title of this book. Okay, but for those that are coming in that have heard maybe about walk-ins in the past, or starseeds in the past, or hybrids in the past, but they don't necessarily understand what we are talking about. For clarification as we move forward, let's get that part out of the way. Let's start with the simple stuff. Starseed. What is a starseed?
Okay, typically a starseed is someone whose soul has arrived from another planet. Now, most of the time, it's at birth. It's a natal soul. So when the soul attaches, it has arrived from another planet. Or it could be from a star system or a realm of planets. Okay, so that's a starseed. When you talk about hybrids, hybrids have both human and extraterrestrial DNA. And walk-ins are souls that basically switch places with another soul. Now, they can also be a soul augmentation, but when you talk about a soul exchange, which is what I am, one soul out and another soul in.
And now, so a circle can be a square, can be a rectangle, right?
Sometimes.
Right? So that's what we're saying here. Did I miss? Can a hybrid be involved in this too?
Oh, absolutely. A walk-in can come in to a hybrid body and be a starseed. A lot of times when a walk-in will come in, they will arrive specifically with a mission from another planet. And they can come into just a human body, or they can choose to come into a hybrid body. It just depends on what they need to occur and why they need it. Okay. And so like in my case, I came into a 38-year-old body. And so I didn't need to be born. I didn't need to go through the trauma of childhood. I had to come in and clear up a lot of the cellular structure before I could begin my imprinting. But I came in from a collective of beings. And so it just depends on, where a walk-in comes in and what the mission is about. For me, when I came in, my mission was all about really being here at this particular time on the planet to help hold space and to help people remember who they truly are at a soul level. And so that's what I try to do with everything. Everything that I do is solely about my mission.
Do people misuse walk-in, the term?
They do. And it's very confusing for a lot of people because a walk-in symptoms and a starseed symptoms, and I call them symptoms, and I'll explain that, can be very, very similar. So typically a walk-in will feel out of place. So does a starseed. Typically a walk-in, however, will have an immediate change in personality. Well, if a starseed just wakes up to who they are, they will have an immediate change in their personality. Sometimes when there is this awakening, all of a sudden they have these heightened intuition or psychic abilities, or they're extremely empathic and sensitive. That can happen for a starseed, and it can happen for a walk-in. Being connected to nature and animals, both can have these.
So what would the difference be? It sounds like we're talking about the same thing here.
It does sound like we're talking about the same thing, except it depends on how the soul arrives. Okay. So most starseeds are born into a physical body, and at a certain period of time, when the vibrational frequency is correct, they will awaken. Okay, it's kind of like they're called to duty, they're called into action. Sometimes starseeds, especially the crystal children that are coming in, they come in fully awake and aware. They know who they are, they know where they're from. Okay, and so a walk-in, when they come into a physical body, they just know something has happened. Like with me, I was dazed and confused. I had no idea, because I didn't even believe in past lives. I'd never read a metaphysical book, all of that. I had no foundational knowledge for what had happened to me. So the foundational knowledge that I had was entrenched in 3D and in psychology. So obviously I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a dissociative disorder. I'm having psychosis, blah, blah, blah.
Right. In the past, you get institutionalized.
Right. But now it's
right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that, I believe that a lot of people that have been institutionalized are starseeds and walk-ins and potentially hybrids. Just because all of a sudden they wake up. Or just imagine if you are a starseed and you come in fully awake and aware, and you're like, oh my God, and you're seeing things and you're hearing things and you're looking into other realms and you're seeing dragons coming at you and you're responding to that. What are people around you going to think, especially if you...
Let me jump in. So for how long have we heard and read accounts of people witnessing a family member or somebody in the village that is suddenly speaking in tongues?
Yeah, like light language. And that's
today it's light, right? So if somebody's speaking light language today, and I've had it on my show, I'm totally intrigued with that. But that's today, where we have a different understanding about what's going on. But 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, you're burned at the stake.
Right. And fortunately for me, when I came in within 6 months, I found my first spiritual teacher totally by accident, but I found her. And she was of Hopi lineage. So she knew about walk-ins. But see, in Native cultures, walk-ins are kind of revered. They know who they are. They recognize them. But also you have to remember, all Native cultures, I don't care where they are, their creation stories go back to the stars. So they are some of the original ET societies that are here on this planet.
I was just thinking, I have a painting over there. It's right there. I was going to go grab it from Carol Perrault. She's an amazing artist. Anyway, it's of ET eating bacon. Yeah.
I think they would love bacon.
Yeah. I can see it from here, and it just popped in my head. Anyway, um, but the the idea of a multiverse, parallel world, speed of light, entanglement, channeling, telepathy, these kind of things. These are modern convenience terms, so we can say the word and we understand what we're talking about.
Right,
But
right.
the same things were going on for thousands of years, and
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
Is
well,
that,
you also,
does that indicate contact to you?
well, I mean, I as far as contact, I believe that we were seeded by extraterrestrial societies. That is my personal belief, and I believe that we are them and they are us, and they are walking among us, and we probably are walking with them. The only difference is we have chosen to be in human form. Our souls have this time, and they've chosen to be in Arcturian, Andromedan, Palladian, whatever form they have chosen, but we're all still souls. And when we disembody, we will go back into that collectiveness.
I wanted to, if I can, just briefly, I wanted to talk about Barbara Lamb for a second.
Yeah.
And um, she she is one of the most beautiful people on planet Earth. Period. Period. You know, and so when you think about something like that, that's an extraordinary thing to say,
Mhm.
but it applies to Barbara Lamb, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I love Barbara, and I'm in awe of Barbara. I think she's the grand dame, and she has helped thousands and thousands of people to be able to discover who they are as a soul. And so when I was writing this book, after each section, Barbara has contributed five. Um, She's contributed five sessions, case studies that she has written up about people who have discovered themselves as walk-in starseeds or hybrids, or who knew they were a walk-in and came to her for additional clarity. And that's how I originally became acquainted with Barbara. And when I went to see Barbara, I mean, I knew I was a walk-in, and I knew all of these things, and I had all this information floating around, but still I was trying to kind of categorize everything so it made sense to me. All of these different experiences. And I was questioning myself, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about the 6 hours of missing time that the kids and I had? And what about so I had lots of questions. So when I went to Barbara, and she she always records the sessions, and I
You
went
did
back.
sessions? Okay,
I Oh,
hold
yeah.
on. Okay, so it wasn't just a meeting about research.
Oh,
You
no.
did sessions
Mhm.
with Barbara.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I
so jealous.
actually met her. I met her in Laughlin, Nevada at a conference. And
When was
so
this?
the star, it was the one that Paula was doing. She's not doing it anymore. But
No,
anyway,
she's not. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
went to the last 3 or 4
yeah.
of those. But how long ago was this?
Mm, well, it was the
I mean, 10 years?
prior to 3 years, so it was 3 years before she stopped doing them when I met Barbara. Okay, so whatever
I
year.
was there. I was there.
I was there. We probably passed in the hall.
Well, I was hosting it, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did see. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Barbara being there. Um,
Yeah.
but my point, okay, so let's go back to have a session with Barbara, who has compassion, right?
Mhm.
An extreme amount of intelligence,
Oh,
but
yes.
she's got that voice, right?
Yes.
Right. She's got that voice. That just must have been an amazing experience.
It was. And, when I listened, I was going to say, when I listened to the tape, one, she must have tapped into the essence of, my collective, because they were talking to her and they said, she's like, well, why did you choose this particular body? Was there a particular reason? And they said, if we could open her mind, if we could allow her to see the potential, we knew that we could help humanity. And I was like, oh my God, I really was closed off. So when the walk-in came in, whoosh, for me, it was totally different. I also have done sessions with her where I was inquiring about the kids and I were up in a playroom and we were cleaning the toys. They had this huge playroom. We went up, I guess it was about 9:30 in the morning. All of a sudden behind my daughter, there's this huge, bright light. Now you'll remember they used to have the cameras and how flat, the flash was so bright. And that's kind of what it was like. And we were like, oh, whoa, what was that? Well, I don't know. So we went back to cleaning the room and everything. And I'm thinking, what the heck was that? But didn't say anything. So my son's like, I'm hungry. So I'm thinking, oh, yeah, it's about lunchtime. So I go downstairs. No, it's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Now, we had just gone up there and been up there what I thought maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. So I was curious to find out what happened. And she said in the hypnosis that this bright light opened up and there were beings that came out and got us. And we went willingly with them. We were kind of like in a daze. We went with them. When we got to the space, we came out in a white room, and there were devices, medical devices, if you will. There were 4 tables. I was on one, my son, my daughter, and then my oldest daughter was at the end. And they were basically, from this particular session, they worked on my son, they worked on my daughter, and they worked on my oldest daughter. Well, my son is very, very gifted, and he also became a walk-in at the age of 7. He cried out. He began to speak light language at the age of 7. He had a ruptured appendix, asymptomatic. We, just about lost him. And that's when the walk-in came in. But then my other daughter, she is a phenomenal animal communicator, healer, works with the, animal kingdom. And then my other daughter, she's busy raising her kids right now. And so throughout their lives, they have always been very gifted, very talented, very blessed. And I've often wondered if that had to do with us going on the craft.
That makes a lot of sense. And now we can't talk about starseed light language children without talking about Mary Rodwell. And right. So we'll jump into that in a second. Yeah. But here, just in the title of the book, journey is plural, right? So are you looking at, I've just started the book, everybody. I'm just a few pages in. I've read Mary's introduction and stuff, and I've just started to dive into it. But for myself and for everybody else that is going to be reading the book, is this multiple cases of different experiencers and walk-ins and starseeds, and where you're taking that analysis and looking at the different cases and wrapping them together?
Well, at the very beginning, actually the first half of the book is dedicated to the multidimensionality, not so much of just the universe, but also of us as species. And so that's the first half of the book. And we talk about dimensions and densities and timelines and blah, blah. Then you get to the second half of the book, And I go in depth about walk-ins. I go in depth about star seeds, and I go in depth about hybrids. And then behind each of those sections, then Barbara has the 5 case studies behind each one of those. And I think that really adds to it, because I've got the blah, 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 blah. And then Barbara comes in, and Joey saw this, and this happened here. So she brings that real life element. I've tried to keep it very, very engaging. But when you offer the studies that Barbara has done, and most people who are going to be drawn to read this book are also going to know about Barbara, it's very exciting to hear her validating everything that's been written in the book so far.
Yeah, she's got like 6 sessions, I think she's got in the book, right?
No, she has at least 5 after each of the 3 chapters. So she's got 15. And then I think the Starseed has actually 6 case studies. So
I thought it was okay. So when I was thumbing through and looking at this in advance before jumping into it, I did see that, but because of the way it was labeled, Sheila, I thought it was that same session 1 is analyzed many times throughout the book, a different section. It's not. We have different. Wow. Well, see, that's really cool. But Barbara,
really cool.
Barbara has done a lot of sessions.
Yeah, she's done thousands upon thousands of sessions. And the beautiful thing is she's still offering sessions. And so if people are fortunate enough to get in with her, it's really a gift, the way that she brings you in to the regression and works with you and brings you out. And for so many people, it's life-changing.
Yeah, really, for sure. Can we talk? We're going to get back to the book in a second. And I know that we discussed this before, but for those that haven't heard this part of your story, I think it's very interesting. What was the reaction of your family? And because it needs to be addressed.
Yes, it does.
I mean, right out in front, because one day you're Sheila version 1, and the next day you're Sheila part 2.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, I can honestly say I lost every friend that I had, first off, which was not a bad thing. Then I left my marriage within 3 months because there was 0 resonance there. And I went to a funeral. So I went with my parents to this.
Who left who in the divorce?
I
or
did.
Was it mutual? Oh,
I just left. And so
I just left.
Been there, done that, had to go. And I'm like, what?
Okay. All right.
I always tell women, do not leave your husband and blame it on a walk-in. Take responsibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
a walk-in's a good excuse, though. I can see the divorce attorney taking notes, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And so who fooled around on who? No, I'm a walk-in.
That's right.
A what?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, we're going to get the padded wagon. I had to be very careful when I was going through the divorce to navigate things, because I was just freshly here, and the whole system was not making sense to me. I was having a hard time dropping in and integrating into it. And it was really hard. And the friends that I had was like, you have to be quiet. You can't talk about, because I was like, oh my God, let me tell you what happened to me, kind of thing. So I would try to share the experience and all this knowledge and everything. And they literally were like, you're going through a divorce. You can't talk like that. They will take your children away. And so that's when I really said, okay, wait a minute. I've got to be quiet about this.
So lie.
No, I
Well,
diverted. I diverted. I diverted. So
okay.
what happened was with my mom, you also have to realize too, when I came in, I had very little memories of this life. I had a
Well, what do you
few.
tell your husband? Is it safer to just say, look, I'm in love with somebody else, right?
No,
I mean,
it was.
men need a reason.
Well,
You
it was
can't.
dysfunctional, and it was a very dysfunctional marriage. And at 12:01 on New Year's, he wasn't home, and I'm like, I don't know where he is. I don't even care. I'm packing, and I left. And that's by 7 o'clock the next morning. I had everything packed, and I was gone. And he came home, and he's like, do you need some help? I'm like, yeah, you can help. I'm taking this refrigerator, by the way, because I just bought it, so it's mine. I'm taking, so it was kind of like shock and awe. But he even recognized, he's like, you are not the same person. I'm like, you're right, I'm not. So
Wow, man,
stay out of my face, buddy.
I need popcorn right now.
It's
This
right.
is like,
It's like, sit down, be quiet. Here's the new
woo,
rules. So
wow.
but with my parents, what happened, first off, I did not tell my dad about it until the first book was coming out, Walk-In's Cosmology of the Soul. I thought I
Right.
better tell him. And then my mom, we had gone to this funeral, and when we got back, she said, I have to talk to you. And I thought, uh-oh, she's going to tell me some bad health news. And she goes, you need to go see a doctor. And I'm like, I don't need a doctor. I'm fine. She's like, no, you really need to go see a doctor, because I've been watching you the last couple months, and today it just confirmed it. And I'm like, what? And she's like, you have the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, you didn't know your best friends from school. You did not know your relatives, and they would ask you a question, and you would counter that with a question, and then another question, and then another question. And so that's kind of the way that I learned to play the game, until I really integrated and knew how to navigate.
Wow.
So
I mean,
after that,
there is no handbook for any of this, right?
no. Well, that's why I wrote the first book. I'm
Right.
hoping that could serve as a handbook, and this as well, because it's like, hey, if this is happening, you could be a starseed. Hey, if this is happening, you might be a walk-in, because not all walk-ins are soul exchanges. Sometimes it's a soul augmentation. And so what would happen is a portion of the natal soul would leave, and more of the higher aspects would come in, more of the higher self. Now, the interesting thing, what I've observed over the last 24 or 5 years, the very fact that so many people are raising their vibration through personal work, through, prayers, meditations, whatever it is that they're doing, they're bringing in parts of their higher self already and anchoring it in. So the walk-ins are not just okay, this is something that's going to happen. This one soul's out and the other soul's in. This is part of a program. And it's part of a planetary program within many, many societies and many cultures. The Andromedans have a very strong walk-in program, as does the Arcturians. And with me, because I come from a collective, we were already here in the ethers of the planet. So it was decided, when the soul of this body cried out to be released, I would be the aspect to come in, but I have stayed connected. So with that, because the soul of this body that left had been Arcturian, there was a framework that was laid in the energetic system. Because you have to remember, we have chakras, and we have spiritual bodies, and we have our holographic fields. And I talk about all that in the book too. And what happens is, when a walk-in comes in, everything has to shift. The new walk-in, could not operate with this old chakra system, because it was already imprinted so heavily, and it only received certain types of information.
How do you explain this to your mom?
Well, I didn't
how is that
explain
even
that. I
possible?
just, you know what I did? I just told my mom, I said, I explained, I said, look, you remember when I was very, very sick? She goes, yes. And I said, and you remember when all of a sudden I became healthy? She goes, yes. I said, and you remember when all of a sudden I had all these different gifts, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, although I use, different words and examples. And she says, yes. I said, that's because the old soul of this body left, and I am the new soul that came in. And she sat there for a minute and she goes, does that mean I'm not your mom? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
of course
oh,
she said that.
no. I said, no, you're my mom, just to a new and improved version. She goes, oh, never talked about it again.
I want to meet your dog. Bring your dog
Oh,
over.
come here, Willow. Come here, baby boy. Oh,
Let me see.
this is
Let
my
me see.
killer. This is Willow.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yep, 7.5 pounds of awesomeness.
Man. What's his name?
Willow.
Willow. Can Willow hear me?
He can. Say hi.
Willow, what's up? Willow.
Hi. Oh yeah,
Man,
he's
Willow gets whatever he wants, doesn't he?
You better believe it. He goes with me everywhere.
That
I've never
dog
gone
gets
anywhere without him.
that dog. You are here just to make sure he lives the life of Riley.
Well,
That's your job.
He's a walk-in. He had
Somebody just said, okay, this is a friend of mine.
This is true.
Is Willow a walk-in? That's the question. Do you see it? Do you see it right there?
I do. He is a walk-in. And here's how. He had seizures. The old soul left. Another soul came in. I would have never thought this possible in animals. However, his Syrian parents came to me. And they told me that this is their son. This is an aspect of their son. He wanted to come and experience this particular time on the planet, but he didn't really want to get out there. So they wanted to protect him, and they put him with another walk-in that could understand and that would cater to his needs. And boy, did they choose the right person. All he has to do is look at me, and I'm like, what do you want, honey? You want this steak? I don't need it here. You can have it. Oh God, he melts my heart. But but he is, and I would have never thought that ever in a million years. And not only did that happen, I had a woman, I don't remember if she was from Akwesasne, but she was on the Mohawk reservations that called me, and she was a medicine woman. And she said she knew a friend of mine, and I had called and I said, hey, I got this issue with my dog. Any ideas? Blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I'm going to put you in touch with this woman. I'd left a message, and she calls me, and she goes, first thing, she goes, I want you to know that your dog is a walk-in. His Syrian parents came to me. And I'm like, they came to me too. I'm not crazy. I mean, even when I see stuff, sometimes I'm like, did I really see what I saw? Kind of thing. Did I really hear what I heard? So I always tell people too, when you've got all these various clairs going on, when you've got that clairsentience, when you know that you know beyond a sense of knowing, to me, that is your superpower right there. That is the best clair, because I hear stuff all the time. I mean, of course, I'm always hearing the frequency stuff, but I hear them talking to me. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you say? Huh? Tell me, because it's almost like I'm hearing them audibly, even though it's telepathically. And then I have Tiamu, that is an Andromedan Elder Mother, who is, I know it sounds crazy, but an aspect of my future self that's part of the collective that will come, and she works through me in healing sessions, and she does light language. And so she will bring in light codes and place them in the holographic field so they can open up as the person's vibrational resonance meets the light codes. And sometimes, we'll just go in, she'll find, I always call them like Brillo pads, you scrub. So they look like Brillo pads to me caught in someone's holographic field, and we'll pull it out and we'll start to look at it, and she'll say, oh yeah, this is a lifetime where they were. One lady I was working with the other day, and she was having a multidimensional experience with an aspect of her that was in an 8th dimensional pod. It was in like a stasis pod. And she had somehow gotten ejected, and she was just like free floating out in space. Now, the thing was, she was still in the stasis, but her mind was working. And her mind, the things that she was thinking was affecting her multidimensional aspect here on the planet. So like if this is the fist, this is your oversoul, all of these are multidimensional aspects. So this aspect was affecting this aspect. And so you've got that resonance frequency that, you know, kind of attaches. And there was a resonant frequency with Willow, and I think that's why they kind of chose me to be his little guardian.
That is fascinating. And I'm wondering more and more each day if the world, I'm not the first person to say this, I'm the millionth person to say this, if the world is ready, right, for this information. And yet what, but let me, there last week, this is how crazy shit is right now. All right. Last week, a piece of something fell on a village in Kenya. Okay. Now, you can go and read the reports. I could pull up the images, but just hear me out for a second. This thing is 11 feet in diameter. It's round. It weighs 1,100 pounds. They thought it was a piece of space junk from an O-ring from a rocket. Okay, now, on the surface, makes sense, doesn't it? All right? So, Kenya's upset, and they should be. Willow, behave. Don't make me come over there, Willow.
Yeah, he just woke up and he's like, wait a minute, that's
I
need a drink.
You can bring Willow up here. Okay, so check this out. So Kenya wants the country whose rocket this is from to step up and say, hey, that's ours. Did we hurt anybody? Right? Do you need somebody? Did fall on a house? Does somebody's car needs to be paid? Whatever, you know, some responsibility. The piece of debris cannot be identified. Now, hear me out. Engineers from around the world, very smart people, have been looking at nobody. This, and it's giant, it's huge, and it's complex. It can't be identified. Nobody knows where it came from, but it fell out of the sky. Now, this is where I go, wait a minute. Maybe it's something else altogether, right? Maybe it's not of this earth.
Right.
Right? Maybe, and you know, because we're looking, because now physically we have this object, and if it was manufactured here on Earth, I think it would be identified in minutes.
Yeah.
It's a week later. It's a week later, and nobody knows anything about this piece of space debris. So maybe it came in from a rip in a vortex between parallel worlds and a multiverse, right? Another dimension. It fell off the space, whatever, and it just came into our reality and happened to land in Kenya.
Right.
And I don't know if that is I don't know if we can handle that, Sheila. I don't know, but it's just weird that it's remained unidentified for a week, and it's ginormous. It's huge.
Well, I think that they are giving us lots and lots of opportunities to acknowledge that there is more out there. You know, humanity has been lied to for so long that we pretty much believe everything. However, that's changing. People are waking up. And it's not just, oh, yeah, I'm waking up that there's extraterrestrials. They're waking up, that can of worms is starting to lift. Now, all of a sudden, even my dad, 90 years old, doctor tells him something. He's like, well, now how's that going to interfere with the other medications I'm taking? Or should I take a supplement? Whereas years ago, if the doctor told him something, it would be like God. So people are waking up. They're starting to question. They're questioning their health. They're questioning governmental rules and decisions. They're really waking up and asking those tough questions. And so I believe that people rise to those occasions. I believe that people will be able to accept this. There's always going to be people who are not ready, and that's okay. Everyone doesn't have to be ready, because the end result is going to be the same for everybody. We're eventually going to move into higher and higher realms. And so we don't all have to do it at the same time. And so I really think that what you're talking about is just another example of how they're reaching out and saying, hello, here's another thing. Yes, there's craft over here, but what about this? That's something tangible that people can pick up. That's something tangible that they can hold. You know, when people see a craft, not everybody's going to believe everybody all the time. But when you've got something that you're holding here, and it's not a meteorite, they're going to be saying, now, wait a minute. And they're going to start questioning, because that's our nature as humans, to question.
Yeah, somebody just said, Ken Priest just said, poor Willow. Willow, give me 10 more minutes, bro. So check this out. You ready? No. You can just put Willow on your lap. I'll do a co-interview. That's all he wants. He wants some Jimmy action.
No,
okay,
actually, he just woke up.
Look at the screen. You ready?
Yes.
What does he want?
Oh, him? He wants to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
so he can wait. He can wait.
So look at. Okay, so check out the screen. You ready?
I'm ready.
That's the space debris. Now you think, right?
That looks. Oh.
Now, if that was made on Earth, that would be identified immediately. Oh, that's from a Russian rocket. That's from a Chinese Mars rocket. That's a SpaceX. It's a piece of SpaceX. That's Blue Origin. That's a European Space Agency. Blah, blah, blah. But nope, nobody knows. Isn't that crazy?
Is there writing on it? I wonder if there's any writing.
Look, it's been 7 days. If there was something on that could identify it, a part number, a serial number, whatever, I think we would know. But 7 days later, all of the space agencies, everybody, and I'm talking about the United Kingdom, France, United States, China, India, Russia, everybody has jumped in and said, ain't ours. Isn't that crazy?
On cell phones, how now you can buy the little caps and put on the cell phone camera lenses so that they don't get scratched. That's what that looks like. So maybe it's off of a camera.
I have them right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. But, in all seriousness, it's pretty big. When you were talking about a ring, I was thinking of a ring.
Yeah, it's 11 feet. It's 11 feet in diameter, as you can see there. And it weighs 1,100 pounds. fell out of the sky, and
And
nobody knows anything. Look, so when we post, I remember like Jacques Vallée, right? When they posted, they had the picture of the part that came from the spaceship, and it was in the right. How quickly that was broken down and identified as a part from a windmill, right? It took minutes, right? There are smart people. And so these pictures have been brought to, they're all over the internet right now. The story is a huge story. And nobody, not an engineer, not somebody in the aerospace industry, somebody has stepped up and said, yeah, that I know exactly what that is.
yeah,
No,
I think it's kind of
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are they doing radiation readings? And
I'm telling you right now, the way that this story is being handled by everybody out there, it seems a little whack to me.
yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, today I did a quick story on it, and let's see. Okay, so I'll just read you this. It's been 2 weeks since a chunky metal ring crashed onto a village in Kenya, but authorities are still unable to pinpoint where it came from. The fallen object raises concerns over how hard it is to trace space debris and hold those responsible accountable. Okay? The Kenya Space Agency is still investigating the origin of the mysterious object that fell from the sky onto Makuku village in a county in Kenya on Monday, December 30th, in the early hours of the morning. It's December 30th, last week, right? Okay. As of today, the origin of the oval-shaped fragment remains a mystery. Although it was initially assumed that the ring was a discarded piece of space debris, there's little evidence that ties it to a specific rocket or satellite. Right now, it doesn't match any known rocket part. No country has stepped up and claimed it, and Space Force says they didn't track it, and they couldn't track it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like crazy.
That's exciting. That is so exciting.
So what if, okay, so like I said, what if this goes to the next level? It didn't originate here on Earth, right? Mm-hmm. Can we handle that? It's kind of like Oumuamua, right? Remember that? And Avi Loeb and the first interstellar object, coming in. I don't know. I would like to think that we're prepared for this. We certainly watch enough friggin' alien invasion movies, right? Right? Where
I really believe that humanity can handle it. I really do. There's going to be a freak out factor no matter what's released. But with this, most people, I find, believe in extraterrestrial life.
Yes. Yes. I mean, the universe is just too damn big.
Well, it is. And most people,
isn't that,
yeah.
I think it's a little self-centered and egotistical to think that we are all there is.
Right. This universe is teeming with life everywhere, and not just out there, but all around us. I have people that come to me all the time and they're like, oh, I just want to be able to see. I want to be able to see. And I want to be able to remember everything. And I'm like, no, you really don't. Because when you come to this life, it's a gift that you have these blinders put on, and you also don't remember. So imagine what it would be like, number one, if you could actually see 100% of everything happening all around you, you would be paralyzed. Number two, you couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle it. And then the second thing is, what happened if you remembered all those people in your past lives that you had lost, all of the atrocities that were committed against you and that you committed? I mean, that alone is going to paralyze people.
That's trauma.
And
Trauma. Yeah.
it is,
Big
yeah.
trauma.
So when you come to this life, we get a free pass. We get that opportunity to really discover who we are at our core essence. And I think that humanity is getting a huge opportunity right now, whether it's this ring in Kenya, or people having sightings, or people waking up and looking around and saying, I don't know if this is exactly, if I can buy what's being told to me here. People are waking up. And that is huge. And that's one of the reasons that I came, because I wanted to be here at this particular time. That's why Starseeds are here right now. They're helping to hold these higher vibrational frequencies and anchoring them onto the planet, and even the hybrids. And, the hybrids that we're talking about are very, very benevolent. We're not, talking about super soldiers or anything like that. We're just, we're talking about bodies like mine, bodies like yours. And so there are I would dare say that probably over 80% of society is a walk-in or a starseed, easily, easily. And you have to remember, our souls come from somewhere. So they could be an angelic soul. They could be a source soul. They could be an interdimensional soul. They could be an extra terrestrial soul, but they're coming from somewhere. They don't just magically appear. And so when that somewhere is anchored into the physical form and we wake up, majority of the people are remembering, hey, I am a starseed. I go outside at night and I look up in the sky, and I think about lion beings all the time. I think about Lyra. I think about this. I think about that. People are waking up. So for these people to find a ring like this only validates the experience of the people who are waking up. It's like, I knew it. Now there's something tangible. And so that's the connections that I hope start being made. People always call me a Pollyanna, and I guess that I am, because my attention's over here. I can't buy into the fear and the guilt and the shame and the blame. I just don't do it. Over here is what I'm trying to create. I'm creating that world where people are awake. I'm putting my energy into a better world where people understand who they are, and that they embrace that, and that they begin to embrace, their telekinetic powers. They begin to embrace telekinesis. They begin to embrace their clairsentience and their clairaudience as if it's normal. So normalization of these kinds of topics is really, really important. And I hope, like the book that I just wrote, is going to help. I really do, because I think that these are going to become normal. You ask, how did my parents react and my friends? Well, 20 plus years ago, they were all like, kind of thing. But today they're like, oh, you're a walk-in? Cool. I know a walk-in. Oh, you're a starseed? Hey, I'm a starseed. These are becoming normal parts of our everyday conversation. So I find what's happening in Kenya very, very exciting. I find the fact that people are questioning even the devastation of the fires. It's like, now, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I mean, look at Paradise. Look at the questions that came out of Paradise, California. You see the photos where all of a sudden, that was supposed to be a haven for Alpha Centaurians. And so,
yeah. I hear the, although none of us have to agree.
Correct.
With no, that's not what life is about. But
Right.
What life is about is keeping your ears open and listening. Because once you do that, and once you shut it off, you don't have to agree, but listen. You will only learn from somebody that you disagree with. or that it's something new. If it's something old or something that you would already agree with, you're not growing. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. So I would rather piss somebody off by disagreeing with them or staying engaged in the conversation and not walking away, and getting this out, because they're learning from me too as well. And that's the part of growing together, is being different.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have to agree with any of this. And neither does anybody else, but the ideas need to be constantly put on the table. I think that's the most important lesson in all of this, Sheila. I think it's
absolutely.
So, and here's the last thing. We're off of the network. Okay, so we're a minute over. So before I say good night, this is what I find most compelling. We are able to measure and discuss and theorize particles, atoms, quarks, photons, protons, electromagnetic waves, gravity waves, the craziest quantum of the small to the biggest macro of the biggest out there. Yeah. Right? We're able to do all of this except one thing: consciousness. It's like the most bizarre, the one thing that enables us to ponder the existence of a weak force holding the core of an atom together, right? We're able to have that conversation, but we don't know why we can think about that stuff, right? It's weird. It's bizarre. So once we figure that out, once we fully understand where consciousness is, where it originates, why it is, and everything else, then we will advance. And that's where we're at. That's why that when ET gets here, I kind of want to know about how you did it. I kind of want to know where you came from. Have you seen the future? What's up? Okay, all of that. You know what? Dude, tell me about consciousness. Have you guys got that figured out? That's what I want to know.
Beautiful. Yeah. And so many of the starseeds and walk-ins are coming in with that kind of information about consciousness. And the fact that it's all a web, that we are all these holographic thought processes that are occurring within the mind of source energy. And therefore, everything is consciousness, whether it's the computer, whether it's the light.
Yes. It has to be
the source.
It has to be that way, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. That's exactly it. You know, hey, when one of those dominoes falls, they all go. Yeah. They all go. It's all connected. Sheila, you are the absolute very best. Just thank you so much. Everybody, the book is Cosmic Convergence. Let me hold it up for you. Oh, it's this camera. I'm sorry. It's this camera right there. It's this Cosmic Convergence. Get the book. Sheila's website is below. I'll look forward to our next conversation. Sheila, be safe out there, and thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
The absolute very best. Sheila Seppi. Now go take Willow to the bathroom. All right.
I am definitely.
I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Sheila Seppi, and her links are below and on our website and throughout social media. This is Fade to Black. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night right here, Scott Walter is joining us. He says he's got new Templar documents. Until then, all I've got is Go Backley Tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go back, Lee Tappy.